All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Friday. I hope that y'all's day is going well. I hope that it goes great. I know everyone's ready for the weekend. I don't think it's not. Is it any football? It's like college football, I think, Army and Navy, maybe this weekend. But there are a lot of things for us to talk about because last night they came out with the schedules for the SEC. So we know when we're going to be playing everybody. And it's a tough schedule. It's definitely very, very tough. But we're going to go through that. We'll talk about some rumors with our current roster, what it might look like next season and all the impacts to the transfer portal. Obviously, we just got Coach Knowles. We talked about that yesterday. And yeah, man, it could just look totally different. But y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I want to send a special shout out to our members. Thank y'all so much for keeping us going, for rocking with us. Y'all can all join as members on YouTube by clicking on the join button just below this video, or you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. We'll have a lot of like inside information, especially with the transfer portal opening up. We'll let you know as much as we possibly can what's real with the rumors and what's false, who's thinking about leaving, all that good stuff. So let me go on ahead and first jump into the schedule. Let's talk about that. And let me also let me get to these chats as well, so y'all can take a look at the schedule. But the first one right here from Justin saying GBO. Thank you for joining us today, Justin. And this one from Thomas. What's going on, Thomas? I hope that y'all's day is going well. And we are going to be getting to the super chats and to the members, first, obviously, as we go deeper into this thing. But we want to try to get to everybody. It's just going to be like a conversation. So looking at Tennessee's schedule. Number one game, September the 5th, is versus Furman. Obviously, that's at home. All the games with the orange background, that's us playing at home. If it's a white background, that means that we're on the road. So week number 2, obviously Furman. I mean, come on, we should be fine. Get your starters out after the second half. Just go out, take care of business, and let's just build up as much depth for the rest of the season as possible. So the next game is going to be versus Georgia Tech. It's at Georgia Tech, and their previous game is going to be versus Colorado. So that's what that means. Every logo that y'all see to the left, that's who the teams are playing leading up to us. And also, just to let you know, our bye week is after South Carolina. So I think that's a pretty good time to have a bye because there's only one bye for every SEC team this season or next season, right? So I think that's in a pretty good spot, man. You want to try to get rolling, be able to take your break, and then hopefully, if things go right, hopefully we can, after the bye, we got a game versus a team that we should be able to handle pretty well. That one's at home, we always beat them. They might look, obviously, they're going to look different with a different head coach, but either way, get yourself back into the groove and then start the playoff push. That's how I'm hoping things work out. But Georgia Tech, right? Just going back to game number 2. We don't know how any of these teams' rosters are going to look. We don't fully know how their coaching staff is going to look. For most of them, we know how it probably should look, but that could change too. So my whole point is it could look really tough on paper or really easy on paper and just end up being something totally different once we see how things play out. After the transfer portal, we'll have a much better understanding. But we know that their head coach should be there unless something crazy happens. They are a tough, physical football team. Offense, defense, special teams. My nephew, he's down there playing. So shouts out to my dog, Jordan Allen. And he's a wide receiver. Played at Buford. He's a dog. He's like a slot. Got to watch out for him. The secondary is going to have to be on point. But yeah, I mean, that's I think that the schedule just, those first 2 games, you kind of warm up. You get a out-of-conference game, tough one on the road. And we're going to be ready for it. So I think that that's good. It's something for us to look forward to in the offseason. Knowing that they're tough, knowing that they're physical, the team's going to have that thought in the back of their mind the whole offseason. So that's going to be positive. Then after that, we have Kent State, September the 19th. Same thing, just like Furman, man. Get your starters in, get them out, get the young guys out there. Let's build up more depth. And then we have Texas. So our ACC opener is versus Texas, September the 26th. We're going to be hosting them. It's the battle of who's the real UT. We all know who the real UT is. We're the ones that we're the real orange. And I think that we've probably been doing it longer. You know what I mean? I think that, Tennessee's definitely been a state longer. We all know that. Volunteer, we know that they came from us helping Texas to become a state. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, we are the real UT. But their game leading up to ours is versus UTSA. So it's kind of like warm-up stuff for them. They've got the Buckeyes, I think, their second game. So it's very similar. Obviously, Buckeyes are probably going to be stronger than Georgia Tech. But the whole point, Very similar kind of like schedule leading up to this huge matchup. Might have college game day there. We should have college game day there. Might be a night game inside of Neyland to kick things off. Wouldn't that be beautiful? I think that'd be perfect. But Arch Manning, Peyton Manning's nephew. I don't know if he's going to go pro or what he's going to do. He might come back. He's a freaking stud. He has all the tools. Obviously, all the Mannings, their fundamentals are pretty much perfect. He's a big guy who can run. He's a great athlete. I think he was clocked at 23 miles per hour last year. I don't know where he's at this season. Probably right there, if not better. 6'4", like 230 something, whatever. He can do it all. We know that they're going to be very, very talented. Sark, I don't love what his offenses look like, but I think like here recently this season, he's making some changes and simplifying it, making it easier on the quarterback on the offense from top to bottom. But a whole lot of misdirection stuff, jet sweep stuff. And that's going to be a tough one. Like I think everybody knows that one's going to be tough. Let me actually tap into the chat because I see that there's several rolling in. So this one right here from my dog, Andrew, saying tough schedules all around the SEC. Yeah, 100%. And it's amazing how just one more game can really make it look daunting. Yeah, man. I don't know why I hope that we are getting a lot more money because it's not the same thing. Playing 9 games in this conference versus any other conference, it's not the same thing. Everybody, all the SEC opponents on our schedule, on everybody's schedule, to your point, they're all good. I mean, so this is like an NFL schedule for real. But that just kind of like talking about that, right? The strength stuff has got to be on point. Has to be because there's only one bye, all that, man. Like, so Coach Hopper's got to look at that very, very, like diligently. All right, so moving on. Next week, after that, we got Auburn. So Auburn will be facing Vanderbilt before they face us. Okay, that's October the 3rd. And obviously, Coach Golish going there, knows our system very well, runs the pretty much same system, but he runs more of how we used to run it. So will he make any tweaks, any changes? Coach Banks is over there as the safeties coach now. He wants some get back because we just let him go. He's seen all the things that people have been saying about him, I'm sure, or at least he's heard some of it. About how he can't do this, can't do that. Well, he knows our system well. The whole staff knows our system well. So they're going to have a great game plan. It's a good thing that game is at home for us. And I don't know. I mean, it's just there's a lot of kind of like unknowns, right? Like they're losing Cam Coleman, their best wide receiver, to the transfer portal. Can they hold on to him? Who knows? But they're going to have guys. Golish is going to have dudes. And I expect for them to be some big spenders inside of the portal. I really do. Like, I expect for that roster to be loaded. So, and then, they're holding on to their DC. We know that their defense has been good with him, Durkin. So that was going to be tough, man. I mean, like, it's just, there's no rest, like after that. Once we start Texas, it's boom, 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 all the way down the line. Absolute no rest. So next game is our first road SEC game versus Arkansas. They've got a new staff. We'll see how they look. I probably won't be super talented, but their previous game is going to be versus Texas A&M, so they might be kind of beat up heading into that game. We'll be a little bit beat up heading into that game too. We, just like Tennessee, going on the road to Fayetteville or to Starkville, for some reason, we just have weird games. So I don't know. Like we've got to be on point. Like you have 2 huge games with a lot of implications leading up to this one. So can we stay focused? Can we stay locked in? I'm actually kind of happy that we don't have a bye before this one because the last time that we went down there, we had the bye and we were flat. There was a lot of weird things going on, but that's why we need the depth because, who's going to be banged up? Who's going to be not at 100%? Probably nobody's going to be at 100% at this point. But yeah, it's going to be so critical, man. Like the transfer portal is going to be critical for Coach Heupel and for this whole program. All right, so next. The 3rd Saturday in October, we get to host Alabama, and they'll be coming off of a game versus Georgia. That's turned into like a big-time rivalry game. That's turned into one of the games that everybody watches. So how are they going to look? Good. I'm sure they're going to be looking good. Is their head coach going to stick around there? Because there's some openings, and there's some chatter that everyone wants him. I think he'll probably stay put, but yeah, I mean, that was always tough. We all know that. That one's always tough. What was the problem for us versus Bama this season? Well, for me, it was mostly about the offense. It was mostly about situational play calling. It was mostly about taking care of the football. being able to run the football, which is going to be huge for us. We have to be able to establish the run, stick to the run, and not throw the football so many times. The defense has to be better versus the run. I think that we could have had a little bit of a different scheme versus Bama just because they are a vertical passing team. Play a lot of deep coverages. I think that Coach Knowles will have some doubt up for these guys. I think that, and for everybody, obviously, first time seeing Coach Knowles for most of these guys, um, at least with our roster, how's that going to look? I think that it might be beneficial for us. All right, so then next, we've got South Carolina. So we have to go on the road to South Carolina. They should be pretty talented. They always have dudes. You know what I mean? Like they always have 4 to 5. Just like where the hell did you find these guys at dudes? So can we have a good game plan to shut that part of it down? I think so. As far as their defense, I don't know how it's going to look. Right? I don't know how any of this stuff's going to look. But they're coming off of a bye. So they should have plenty of time to game plan for us, figure out, hey, what are the signals? Just like they did back in, what was that, 2022? You know what I mean? Like just all that type of stuff. We know that they're going to cheat. Everybody on our roster is going to cheat. That's just part of it. We better be doing some cheating too. But that's one that I fully anticipate that we'll be able to win. All right, so after that, we have our bye. Like I said, then we have Kentucky at home. They're coming off of a bye as well. So we'll be fine in that one, I'm sure. Not too worried about it. Will the quarterback stay there? Because I think that he's good. We saw what he did. What's his name? Like Carter Bowley or something. But yeah, he's good. He's going to be really good, I think, next season. So if they can go out and add a couple of pieces, it could be. I'm not going to say like a problem, but it's not. None of these games are going to be easy. But I do expect that we're going to end up winning it. So next, we have Texas A&M. We have to go on the road to College Station. And we've been there before. Well, I think we went there in 2023. Is that right? Yeah. So it's a loud stadium, and got to be able to run it. They're going to be tough physical defense. We already know that tough physical team. Is Coach Moffitt still going to be there as their strength coach? Probably. And they're coming off of a game versus South Carolina. So they should be fine probably. But once we get to this point in the season, it's like all these games have such huge implications. If Tennessee's in a good spot, it's all playoff implications. Every single game. It's like pre-playoff stuff. So, yeah, that was going to be tough. There's no question about it. Then we have LSU. Lane Kiffin coming back to Knoxville. Last time he was here with, was that with Ole Miss? They won the game, and, we're throwing mustard bottles out there at him. And, he's going to be coming off of a game versus Texas. So just major implications there. I think he's going to have them rolling from day one. Why? Because he's a good coach. He has a really good system. And I think that he likes being the villain. I really do. I think that he plays into that. And Neyland will be rocking, probably more so in that game maybe than any other game on our schedule. I think especially with the implications, so on and so forth. But he's never had a team as a head coach with this much talent, So it is going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. And then last game, of course, on the road versus Vandy. They're coming off of a game versus Florida. I think that Florida's going to be better this year. So how's Vandy going to look with the same coach probably? Pavia's gone, obviously. And I think that they can coach though. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're about in the same spot as they were this season. So we won't get back. They embarrassed us at home. Coach, let's go put up 60 to 70 points. But at this time in the season, do you even want to risk that? Knowing that if we are in the playoff hunt and if we are, if we feel like, hey, we're going to win this one, or if we are winning it, whatever. Okay. Do you want to get your guys off the field and get ready for the playoffs? Of course you want to do that because that's what matters more than just, putting up 60 or 50 plus points in this game. But you still want to get that done. So I don't know. There's just so many storylines, so many implications. It is going to be a very tough schedule. And the crazy thing about it is in 2027, it gets even tougher because the home games flip. We're not going to have as many home games. We're going to be on the road versus a lot of these big name programs. But that's just what it is. All right, so this one right here from my dog. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for joining us. This one saying, heads up, game 3. Oh, you know what? Y'all, I am so sorry that I put Kent State. You are 100% right. That is, I put Kent State. That is versus Kennesaw State. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Kennesaw State, Coach Mack, he was there. He's no longer there, but that would have been interesting. I don't think that he's there. I think he got another job somewhere. But yeah, that would have been very interesting because he comes from the Coach Heupel tree. They run that same veer and shoe sort of an offense. Thank you so much for pointing that out to me, dog. I don't know how I did that. I put Kent State and it's Kennesaw State. All right, so moving on. The SEC, whoever makes it in, will definitely be limping into the playoffs next year. Yeah, it's just tough. Colorado logo, yeah. So as we said, all the logos to the left of the teams that we're playing, that's who they're playing before us. That's what that means. Yeah. So I know some of this stuff might be crazy if you're just now joining us, but thank y'all for pointing all that out so that we can clear it up. All right. So this one from Mega Boy, aka Dog, saying or asking, do I think Heupel for you? Do I think Hypo for y'all if they lose to Tech is fired middle of the year? Nah, I don't think he'll. If we lose to Tech, I don't think that he's going to get fired. I don't see that happening. But hopefully that's not the case because that would be tough. All right, so this one from Dim from them barnyard Bills saying that Kennesaw State is where Jerry Mack is the head coach. Yep. So we talked about that. So Hypo will be. Yep, for sure. Thank you for pointing that out. I like I said, I don't know. Is he still there? Because I thought that I read something that he had moved on. But yeah, obviously that would be some major implications. If Tennessee wants to go hire a new offensive coordinator, the guy that's the OC with Kennesaw State, he was an analyst with Coach Heupel like a few years ago. I think maybe his first couple of years or something like that. Either way, I would maybe try to go get him personally. All right. So this one's saying that again we're going to be 8-4 or maybe 7-5. Again, fellow Vol fans, we expect too much. Keep your expectations low. Well, I mean that's the way that you want to do it, and that's perfectly fine. I don't ever go into anything expecting to just like lose. You know, I don't have low expectations because at this point we shouldn't have them. This is going to be year 6, right? 2026. That is year 6 for us. Yeah, it's a tough schedule, but we already knew that. You know, like we already knew that in this conference the schedules are always tough relative to everybody else. So either we can get it done or we can. I don't expect for us to go 8-4. I don't. That's not going to be my expectations. Again, I'm not mad at you if that's the way that you see it. But yeah, I mean, we've got to find a way to get it done. Also, this next one is saying that why keep our expectations low in years? Okay, my gosh, man, bro, you are preaching. You're saying the same stuff that I just said. Not going to happen if we don't make the playoffs. I promise Josh Heupel will be a lot of hot seat talk. Yeah, I'm right there with you. From Chatsworth, what's going on, bro? Saying it's too bad the LSU game isn't before the Alabama game. That could have possibly let us play Kiffin, a Kiffin team twice. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Are you saying that? I don't even understand what you mean by that. A Kiffin team twice? If we play Bama before LSU, so are you saying that you feel like Lane Kiffin's going to Alabama at some point, like midway through the season? That would be crazy if that happened. All right, so Spivey saying that in today's college football, you better bring it every week because the gap of talent is closed up. Yeah, 1,000%. And so we are going to move forward. Okay, I'm going to get right back to the chats, but we are going to go on ahead and move forward. I think that everyone brought up some really good points. All right, so want to talk about Tennessee's linebacker room because it sounds like Arion Carter is going to be going pro. Sounds like that might come out in the next couple of days, right? I got that from VolQuest. So VolQuest is saying that, and I don't want to like misquote them. They're not saying that he 100% will be going pro, but they feel like that's probably going to happen. So if that's the case, the linebacker room take off Arion Carter, and then also take off Brendan Ames because he is talking about hitting the transfer portal. There is still probably there's a possibility that maybe we could hold on to him if we feel like we need him. But we wanted to talk about this first because number one, love AC. Wish him well if he does decide to go pro. Hope that he gets drafted as high as he wants to. I don't know what his draft stock is at this point. He played the whole year with turf toes, so didn't look as good as he actually is. I think that he is an NFL player. If he enters into the NFL draft, he will get drafted. Somebody's going to pick him up. And actually, AC is the first video that we did on this channel, just breaking down how he looks coming out of high school. So obviously I'm very, very high on him. I think he was a 4-star coming out. We had him as a 5-star. But yeah, obviously the room will be pretty shorthanded because Edwin Spillman, I feel perfectly fine with him being the starter at Mike. And I just moved AC over because he really plays at will. But I said, well, with the will room, he might be better suited to play at Mike. We'll see what Coach Knowles wants to do after he looks at the team. He should start that on Monday or at some point next week. But Edwin Spillman is going to be perfectly fine being our starter at Mike. Jeremiah Thielander, what does Coach Knowles think of him? Because he's going to be a bigger guy who is good playing just at Mike, but if you have to put him out in space, which we're going to have to do it sometimes, within this system, sometimes he's going to have to play out in space. That's just really not his game. Can he get with a trainer or something in the offseason and maybe get better at that? That would be great. Because really, TJ White might be the number 2, and he's a true freshman. So I say this all the time. He's listed at 225, but I think he's already bigger than that. I think that he probably would be okay, but it's just in learning this system. Because it is going to be somewhat complicated. It's going to be a lot more complicated than his high school system. I can tell you that for sure. But we would probably, I think, have to go out to the portal to add a linebacker now. So that's new. And it was brought up maybe yesterday. Somebody asked it, hey, do we need to go out into the portal and add a linebacker? At that point, I'm anticipating Arion Carter coming back. So I said, no. I think that we should be, okay. But yeah, now I think we probably have to go add somebody, maybe even 2. I think that's because you want to have the depth here. You have to have the depth. And this room really only has 3 guys. You could call it 2.5 either way if you think, well, maybe Jeremiah T-Lander moves to the defensive line or something, or if you want to count TJ White as kind of like half of a player because he's a true freshman. So things get a little bit dicey. Let me tap in because I see that there's some members joining the chat. So this one from Samuel, appreciate you, Samuel, saying that if we manage to make the playoffs with this schedule, we're going to win the national championship. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, but you know what? The whole thing about it is everybody's schedule is, like, I've seen everybody's schedule. I didn't look extensively at it, but I'd say that it's pretty even. This is about as even as I've seen all the schedules in this conference. It's brutal for everybody. So if whoever makes it out of the SEC has earned it, do you have enough depth now having 105 scholarships to be okay going into the playoffs? Because as someone else pointed out, we're kind of like limping into it, right? Well, the Big Ten teams, buddy, like you're playing 3 to 4 games every year and you're chilling for the rest of those for the rest of the season. Same thing everywhere else, ACC, Big 12, right? So, yeah, it's going to be tough. But let's talk about this Will linebacker room because as we're talking about backers, how does this one look? Well, I think that Jaden P. at 6'4", 210, he's going to have to gain, I think, at least 15 pounds. I think that's bare minimum. Can he put on 20 to 25? That would be ideal. If he puts on at least 15, to me, he's probably going to be starting here at Will. I think that Coach Knowles already loves him. I think he's going to love him even more. And watching the film, which is what Coach Knowles should be doing, watching the film on our season, seeing, okay, what guys do I like, and then he'll be able to see it live and live in color coming up here very shortly. But, yeah, I think that Jaden P will probably end up being our starting Will. But do you feel like just because looking at the sizes inside of this room, because I love all these guys, they all need to gain some weight. Do you feel like maybe Jordan Burns being more of a vet, being probably closer, because he should be at least 230 by the time the season starts, moves around just as well as all these guys, maybe better? Do you feel like, okay, maybe he's the guy? Is that what Coach Knowles feels like? What about Brandon Rouse? Can he get up to at least 225 and be able to help you out? This could be a room that we might need to go add a veteran body to. We might need to go do that. So now we're talking about potentially adding 2 to maybe 3 linebackers just because of a couple of people leaving out of here, right? So that's money that we had to spend inside the portal. We already knew that we had to add some guys to our defense from the portal. P and I talked about it last night. We said, shoot, we might have to go out and add maybe 7 to 8 starters from the portal. That's a lot. I mean, you feel good about your cornerback room. As long as Ricky Gibson comes back, that's not a guarantee. But I think that Tyler Redmond should be one of your starters, or at least he's a starting caliber player. You should feel perfectly fine there. Really need Ricky to come back. And, then it's a whole bunch of young guys, but we'll take a look at that room here in just a second. We'll talk more about it. So now that brings us to this quarterback room. All right, brings us to this quarterback room. Something was brought up last night on VolQuest, and I shared this with our members on Patreon. And I don't know how true any of this is, so it really is just a rumor, but I thought that it was like an interesting conversation. What if, and what they're saying is, that Joey will probably get granted that extra year, but they're not sure if he even wants to come back. They're saying that we might hear in the next couple of days that Joey Aguilar does not want to come back to Tennessee. He might be done playing football or college football, period. Maybe wants to try the NFL, which, look, I think that he could get picked up. I don't know that he's going to get drafted. I don't know that he's an NFL quarterback personally. I hope that he is. I'm wishing him well. But if he does not come back, well, how's the rest of the room look? So we talked a lot about Merck. We said, I think that was yesterday too. He's a guy that might just want to stay put. He might just be happy just being at Tennessee. Okay. Well, now we got 2 because him and Faison. Okay. Now there's 2 quarterbacks. You need at least 3. So will Tennessee just ride with George McIntyre? Listed at 6'6", 195 right now. He's got to at least gain 15 pounds. I think that he could do that, but In a perfect world, he gains 20 to 30. Can he do that? Has he shown that he started to gain some weight? Do you trust him? Because he hasn't really played. You know what I mean? Has not really played. Do you trust him if you're Coach Heupel, knowing what we've talked about for the past like week or so? I mean, Coach Heupel might be on the hot seat if this thing don't look right. So do you trust him or do you want to go out to the portal and add more of a proven starter? That sounds good, but if you do that, then George might leave. I've heard it. It's a very realistic possibility that George McIntyre might be the one that wants to leave more than Merck. It might be that might be more realistic. That might be what's actually going to happen. So do you want to go out, find you a guy that you feel like is a proven starter, and then let George leave? Maybe. I would say maybe, but let me also say this about George. I think that even though we haven't seen him play that much, from what I've seen from him in the orange and white game and so on and so forth, I think that his floor is going to be higher than Joey Aguilar's floor. I think he'll take better care of the football. I think he's a better athlete. I think he has a higher ceiling for sure. I don't think it's going to be too much of a drop off from what Joey Aguilar did this past season to what George McIntyre would be doing as a redshirt freshman. I personally don't. I'm not at practice every day. So the coaching staff obviously knows a lot better. If they want to go out to the transfer portal to find a starting caliber quarterback, then that gives you your answer. It just means that, hey, we hope that George sticks around. But if he leaves, then maybe we look at a guy like Faison as our future moving forward. But the other part of it is Merck is going to be your backup quarterback. So if something does happen, I would say almost either way, do you trust him? Because I don't think that I do. I don't know how much. I don't know that he's necessarily capable, from what I've seen this season, of playing on this level. I mean, he's going to have to go put in a whole lot of work to even be a good backup for us. So there's a lot that goes into it. And even if we were to just go out at like a backup sort of a quarterback inside the portal this season, that's still going to cost a lot. I think at least $1.5 million, like at least, for somebody that you feel like is competent. And then I think at that point, then you might push Mark out just to save some money. But if you go out and get a starter, $3.5 million, I think that's the floor. That's a lot of money, because I don't know how much the other guys, we'll just say if it's a new starter from the portal, maybe you hold on to GMAC, which would be really good if he wants to stick around. He's probably getting paid close to like $1 million. Faison's probably close to like $1 million. So that's what? $5-6 million on your quarterback room. That's almost like NFL money. It's obviously not like NFL quarterback money, but that's a lot of money just on this room. So I wanted to start off there just to let you know that this thing is about to get serious. I think it's about to get real serious. Let me tap back into the chat. So saying right here from Samuel, saying that really hope that our starting quarterback is on the roster. If we have to go out and get if we have to go out and spend $3 to $4 million, we're in trouble. Almost every dollar needs to go to the defense. Yeah, and we'll talk about some other spots on this roster as well. Let me try to get to some other folks too. Let me come back. Yep, so Chatsworth is saying that Haynes King won't be with Georgia Tech next year. Yep, so it could be an easier game, but it doesn't. I mean, look, we don't know who they're going to go at. We have no idea how any of these rosters are. That could be the hardest game on our schedule. We have no idea, but I fully get what you're saying. All right, so Jacob's saying that there's a lot of winnable games. We can easily go 10-2 or undefeated. We'll see. Same thing that I just said. We will see how our roster looks versus everybody else. And once that happens, once it's all set in stone from that standpoint, we'll come back and we'll look at the schedule. And we're not going to give our, like preseason what the record's going to be for us and none of that until we get closer to the year. But we can at least kind of start the ballparking. All right, so this one from Austin saying, I know we're talking about linebackers, but Jalen and KJ McClain would be such a good story, not to mention what Jalen could bring to the table. We need a dog at safety. Okay, you know what? It's funny that you bring it up, because we will be talking about that here very, very soon. In just a second, we're going to talk about that. All right, so this one's saying that I know that it's a lower level by a lot, but what if we go after someone like that Harvard quarterback that's expected to enter the portal? I haven't watched him play, so I don't know. I have no idea what he looks like, what his game is like, but understand something. It doesn't matter where these guys are coming from. If they're good, they're going to cost. I don't think – I mean, look, I think that you might have to spend more for a guy that's proven on the Power 4 level, but I still think it's going to cost a lot for a guy that comes from a lower classification that you can see on film. And these coaches know, trust me, they know. who are the real guys, and once it turns into a bidding war, it just is what it is. So if everybody's looking at the same guy, whether it's from Harvard or from double A or D2, whatever, the price tag goes up on them. So I don't think that it matters where they come from. Just go get the best guy. Go get who you feel like can help you win at the highest clip. All right, so let me move forward some, and let me talk about running backs. Because I think that if we were to roll with, like, let's just say, if it's George, we say we want to stick with George. We got maybe Merck or somebody like that as a backup, then Faison as a true freshman. What we're going to need is an upgrade at running back, I think. And I don't have Peyton Lewis up here. I know I should add him up here, but I left him off because some of the insiders are saying that Peyton Lewis might not be back anyway. So that actually kind of works out. Have to go out to the portal, have to add a guy. So the first guy that I want to talk about, if we can make this happen, would be this young man right here, Jaden Ball. All right, so Jaden Ball, I don't think he's technically entered into the transfer portal. Coach Summerall, he's come out and he said, look, if we want to hold on to him, have to hold on to him. 6'1", 231. He's from the A. That means a lot, okay? But y'all can see his stats at Florida. He's a dog. I think he's probably, if he enters the transfer portal, in my opinion, he'd be the number one running back in the portal. So you can see his numbers over 1,000 yards, 5 yards per carry, 8 rushing touchdowns. He can catch the football coming out of the backfield. He blocks well, everything. If he was to come in, if he hits the portal, which I would go out of my way to tamper with him and try to get him into the portal, he's probably going to have a pretty high price tag. I'm going to bring this right back. Pretty high price tag. I'm thinking somewhere around $750,000. But that's better than going out and getting a true freshman like a Savion Hyder, who's probably in the 7-figure range, right? This is why I've said I don't really like the Savion Hyder thing. Why? You can just go to the portal and get somebody that's proven to be like a one-and-done guy. To me, that makes a lot more sense. So maybe that starts to drive the price tag down for some of these running backs coming out of high school. I don't want for that to happen, but I just think that that's the case. And then plus we got DGG next season. Why? Like, why would we go get Savion Hyder? But that's who I would go after. I would add him to this room. Like I said, comes in, I feel like probably going to end up earning that starting spot. Love Bishop, but I think that Ball is better. Love both of those freshmen. There will be sophomores next season. But, I think that they have that sort of a ceiling like a Jaden Ball, but they're probably like a year or two away from that. But we would have a really deep running back room. We have to have a guy now. Like, you have to go get a real, true three-down back sort of a guy that can do it all, that can hold up physically in every standpoint of all the phases of football. I think that is number one thing, or maybe not number one, but I think that if we're going to roll with those quarterbacks, that's something that we have to take a very serious look at. So let me get back to this chat. So this one right here, I think from Cody Branch saying, wasn't George challenging Aguilar more than Merklinger? If so, then let him take over instead of getting another transfer. Yeah, we've talked about that. It sounds like he was operating better than Joey was in the preseason. In the offseason, people will say, well, he knew the system better, but not really, because Tennessee changed our system so much. What we're doing more of was actually more similar to what Joey Aguilar was doing at App State, where it's a lot of the pistol stuff. It's a lot of boots. I mean, George might have done some of that in high school, but Jake hadn't really been doing that. He was doing true veer and shoot. So I think that Joey actually had the upper hand, obviously Joey also being older. But, yeah, I think that does speak volumes. It's not that I don't want Joey back, but I'm just kind of like throwing things out there. All right, so this one right here saying that we need to give Knowles a blank check to help him succeed as much as possible. I feel you on that. And Coach Hype needs to go buy a house in the portal so that he can live in it all season. Yeah, man, I totally feel you. And this next one from also saying that if the guys, okay, so Sorsby would probably be worth it, but outside of him, I'd spend it on the defense. Our wide receiver room should make our young quarterbacks look good. And that's the point. That's really what we're getting at, is I feel like we need to build around the quarterback any damn way. Like, build around it, make sure that we're strong around the quarterback. Think about the 2024 year, where the defense was definitely strong, but really everywhere else wasn't great, right? Like, the offensive line was okay. It was spotty. The wide receivers were okay. They were spotty. Tight ends, same thing, right? So let's not make the same mistake. Running backs obviously was great with Dylan Sampson, but let's just knock it out the park everywhere as much as we possibly can. I think that we're pretty close on offense everywhere, but yeah, I totally feel y'all's points. And just going to the Sorsby thing, We talked about him. I've watched him. I think that he does some good things. I'm not blown away, y'all. I'm really not. Like, he does not blow me away. I think that, and it doesn't matter who's already in the portal. You can just go out, tamper with people. Everyone's doing that. It's just like that's just like status quo now. Doesn't matter. If you see somebody on a roster that you like, well, go find out what the price is and see if it's going to be worth it to go bring them there, to go bring them here. I mean, heck, see if Arch Manning wants to leave. I don't think that he would, but why not at least try that? That's the type of time that I'd be on if I'm Coach Heupel. Figure out what it's going to take. Because I actually feel like he would have come to Tennessee if it wasn't for Peyton playing here. You see, he went to another UT. He's wearing 16. That's why I don't think he went to Ole Miss or to Tennessee. But maybe he has a change of heart. Who knows? Probably not. But I'm just pointing it out. We can tamper. So we need to be doing that. Okay, now let's talk about safeties. We already know that we have to go out to the portal and add some safeties. There's just no question about that. That is probably the number one place that we need to be trying to target players at. So let's talk about the first safety. And this was actually already brought up. So Jalen McClain. Right now, he's a sophomore. He will be a junior next season. He's with the Buckeyes, as y'all can see, 6 feet, 200 pounds. His younger brother, KJ, is in the 2026 class. All right. So I think that he's coming in listed as a safety, but for me, he's probably more of like a nickel player, star player. But y'all can see his numbers, right? Looks good. He played a lot this season. As a matter of fact, I went in and spent some time watching film on him, looking at some of his numbers and all of that. I think he had a total of 4 missed tackles so far this year, which is good. That's not bad at all. They weren't like horrible missed tackles, but you are going to miss some. But he had more snaps on defense than any players for the Buckeyes. So he's played a lot of football. He also, this season, 2024, was with Coach Knowles. So he's already going to know the system. It's critical for us in this Coach Knowles system to have good safety play. It is like super, super critical because sometimes he does do things that are funky. They can work sometimes, but other times it could leave a hole somewhere. You need the safeties to really be able to clean things up in this system. I mean that. There is not even a chance. There's not even, I mean, look, if we don't get anything else on defense, if we got to spend all the money, maybe on almost the whole roster outside of quarterback on one position, it is at safety. That is critical. So, of course, would he want to come play with his younger brother, make it easier on their family? There's got to travel. I mean, come on, man. On Saturdays, it's going to be hell for them. Come on home. We've heard that that's a very strong possibility. Bring him in. He's a good player. Great coverage. Okay, he's going to fit things up very well. Smart player, too. He's going to stick his damn nose in there. He ain't like some of the other stuff that we've been seeing at safety, folks turning it down and, slowly getting it. Nah, man, once he sees it, he's going. And he's a very fundamentally sound player. I think he's a must-have. Have to have him. So one of the other safeties that we can talk about right here is Khalil Barnes. Okay, so he's also from the A, 6 feet, 200 pounds. He's transferring out of Clemson. Now, also with this last guy, Jalen, let me make sure I come back to this. He's not in the portal yet, but I think that that's coming. I think that might potentially already be done. But with Barnes here, he is in the portal, and he looks good too. So let's come on down, take a look at his stats. He's played a whole lot of ball, had a chance to go in and watch him on film, love him. He's a true man-to-man coverage corner. Corner. He's a true man-to-man coverage safety. He can, obviously, he's good versus the run. I think his zone, and I didn't watch a ton of his film, but his zone's probably going to be good. But in the film that I watched, it wasn't horrible. It's better than all of our safeties right now. But could it maybe take a step forward? Sure. But yeah, I would try to target him. I've heard that Georgia might have been the front runner, but I think that Georgia's been taken off of his list at this point. He's got some ties to some people on this football team, and we're gonna see what we can do. See if we can bring him on home. But these are the two safeties. All right, these are the two at this point that I did want to bring to the table and let everyone start getting used to those names, because once the portal fully opens up, I anticipate that they'll have maybe a visit or something set up pretty soon. Now, how's it going to work for Jalen? I don't know, because he's still going to be playing ball. So he might not be into the portal, or he might not enter into the portal early. He's not going to be able to visit us early, obviously. But yeah, there are some names out there that Tennessee can target. Let me get back to the chat. So from Big Ronnie saying that we have to get an elite safety or two. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that we need to. I think that we need to go get two. Like these guys inside of this room, I'm not taking a shot at them, but I just think that Coach Heupel can't take the chance. He's going to have to go get guys. Yeah, so he's hoping to get Joey back. I think that it could be positive for us if that works out. So this one right here from Luke. What's going on, Luke? Saying that we need an elite running back is what's going to help us with these younger. I'm sorry, with these super tight games on the margins, and please be able to catch a pass. Yeah, he doesn't have a problem. So Jaden Ball does not have a problem with that. He's a sure-handed catcher. Bishop is good, but has issues being an every down back. Great one cut. Yeah, I think that's more of what his game is for sure. So let's keep this thing moving forward. All right, let's talk about some more spots. So we already know the defensive tackle. That's a place that we probably need to add some depth to. Some like veteran guys. I think that whenever we go out to the portal, don't go add young guys. Just go add vets. Like let's not waste our time. Go get for sure. These are probably going to be starters unless one of the young guys can beat them out, sort of a deal. Let's go do more of that. If we can add bigger bodies, then we could run more of the odd front, so 3-man fronts, which I'm hoping that we do more of that. But if it's pretty much how this room looks currently as far as the sizes and all that, which the true freshmen down there at the bottom in orange, they will get bigger. But if that's the case, if it stays about the same, then it's going to be more of the 4-man front. I don't love the 4-man front. I actually think that Coach knows his system is good with the 4-man front, but it's, to me, better with the 3-man front. It's just really tough to run a 4-man front these days with how teams work with, from like the operational standpoints. But I would say at least one defensive tackle from the portal, if not two. Again, veterans, and then stars is going to be big for us to go out and add some nickel, like slot cornerbacks. I think that, I don't know if Coach Knowles still calls them stars. They don't play like our stars did where they have to do so much. But this room needs some guys. I love Dylan Lewis, but we need some vets. Definitely have to go out to the portal and add some guys who can play inside of the slot. Now, KJ, that's Jalen's younger brother. Y'all can see him here. Listed at 6 feet, 165. I think he's already bigger than that. So, what's he going to come in as? I don't know, but I would definitely say that you don't want to have a bunch of true freshmen playing at this position, not for this team. Okay, so then we have corners. All right, and corner might be the last one. No, we actually have more. So corners, got to go add some guys. Is Ricky coming back? We already touched on that. Tyler Redmond, hopefully he's also going to be coming back. But really like Merritt, really like Trey, love Zay. Smith, I think he's going to be pretty good. But I would say that Ricky Gibson, Tyler Redmond, and then Zay, for me, would probably be our best bets at corner. How do Merritt and Trey look over the offseason? Like, can they get better? Because I think they do need to take some steps forward. But you only have 6 cornerbacks right here, 6 true cornerbacks. Got to go add at least 1 or 2. All right? Got to go add at least 1 or 2. And keep in mind, if we have to overspend at quarterback, we're taking away from the caliber and from the numbers that we can add to all the rooms that we're talking about now. All right, so strong side defensive ends. Maybe go add a guy here, possibly. If you could go find a vet, yeah, go and do that. But we might be okay. I have no idea what Coach Knowles wants to do, but y'all can see it is a very talented room. Leos, I think that we're probably fine here too. Again, if you find a guy that you love, why not? Why not? Can we hold on to all these guys? We'll see. But I think that room is pretty good. So that's it for the defense. Now let's talk about the offense real quick. Is Wendell Moore going to be coming back? If he does, then I think we're fine at guard. As long as we're going to hold on to everybody else. But if not, then we might need to go out to the portal to go add a guy that we love. Because, again, the offense needs to be strong. That starts up front. Like our offensive line, we want to have the best offensive line in the whole damn nation. And don't just want it, but make it happen. Whatever you need to do to make that happen, you got to do it. Because of the quarterback situation. You need to give them the best tools that you possibly can. And I think we might have touched on this, but the scheme within our running game has got to get upgraded. So that's going to be huge for us as well. Now at offensive tackle, is Lance Hurd going pro or is he sticking around? We don't know quite yet. But if he sticks around, if David Sanders sticks around too, because he's fine playing at right tackle or, whoever, if either one of those guys are fine playing at right tackle, then we're going to be good. I personally vote for David Sanders. You played at right tackle this season as a freshman. We'll do it again. Like, let's not mix and match too much. Let's keep things as consistent as possible. I want to hold on to Bennett Warren. I want to hold on to every single one of these guys. Who knows? Does Bennett Warren want to stick around? Because he would be the swing guy. Next year, he's going to have a great chance to be a starter for us at one of the tackles. Please stick with us because you're a good football player. We can use you. Same thing for Jeremiah's Hurd. Great-looking athlete. He needs more time at offensive line. So don't go start over somewhere else. Stick with us, and you're in the mix as well. Okay? Then we got the 2 freshmen. I don't think that they should have to play as freshmen. But moving on to the wide receivers, I think we're perfectly fine here. We don't really need to do anything. We got 8 guys here. All those guys can ball as long as we hold on to everybody. There's no guarantee on anybody. So let's understand that. And then we have tight ends. This is the last one. Perfectly fine as long as we hold on to everybody. We should be fine. We can probably actually lose a guy and still be fine, but that's it. All right. That's it. Just wanted to kind of get through the whole roster and let y'all see how things play out. Let me also say this. Let's go get another kicker. Let's go get a kicker that's going to be more clutch. Let's just do it. Coach, if you want to win, and if you know that the quarterback situation is going to be, we don't know how it's going to look. We're not sure. Well, be sure about everything else, okay? You need a kicker. It's a huge part of you need somebody who can make them from 50 plus, whatever, games on the line. They don't care about that. Like the camera pans over to them. They don't look like they're going to jump out of their skin. Like that's what we need to do. So that's just my opinion. Who knows what the coaching staff is ultimately going to end up doing. But yeah, that's the way that I would play. So let me get back to some more of these chats. So this one from Luke saying that, am I outdated? These weights seem very low for the defensive tackles. Yeah, we had guys that, yeah, man. And that's so true. I'll actually bring it back up because I think that's a good point. It's something that we've talked about previously. We talked about it the whole offseason, bro. That let me move this thing over. There we go. Boom. We talked about this for the whole offseason. That yeah, we don't have the big E's or the big O's. I think that whenever we go to the portal, that's what you add. You add somebody that's at least 325 or 330 plus. You have to. And that's why I said maybe two. I think that it's totally necessary. But also we have guys that can get up to that. I'm just going based off of what their weights are currently. And it might be more than that for some of these guys, but just like what it's listed as currently. But for the freshmen, we know that they should all weigh more than this before they get up on campus. And then they're definitely going to gain as freshmen. But I do think that that's a good point that you bring up. All right. So this one right here saying that we can have him. Well, he's been one of your better safeties. So, okay. Whether you say that we can have him or not, if we want him, we're just going to take him. So understand that part of it. But yeah, I think he's a very good safety. I really, really do. Obviously, him playing next to Caleb Downs. And you know what? I was happy that Caleb Downs didn't go to Georgia. We kind of pushed that narrative. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if playing next to Caleb Downs, who's one of the best safeties that college football has seen in a long time, I think that he looks good. I think he's able to do some of the similar things to Caleb Downs. So I'm not saying that he is Caleb Downs at all. I'm not saying that. Please don't take it that way. But yeah, we'll definitely take him, bro. we ain't worried about that. All right. So David's saying that Coach Knowles uses a rover safety linebacker hybrid, more like Joel Wyatt. Yeah. He definitely likes the taller, longer linebackers. I think that we've got that, to me, more like a Jaden P. Because I'm going to tell you, Jaden P is a better athlete than Wyatt is. I'm going to tell you that right now. People don't understand how good of an athlete he is. They're close to the same. So I think they're both like 6'4". I know that Jaden's 6'4". Is Wyatt 6'4" or is he 6'5"? I don't think that. So Wyatt, I think maybe like to your point, let him play in that position because I think that fits him a lot better than playing at true safety. It's going to take him a while to get that figured out from like a physical standpoint. Now, P's actually watched some full game film on him here recently. I haven't watched the more updated versions of his game film. So maybe he looks a lot better. I think P kind of hinted at that. Like, he actually looks pretty good out there. So yeah, maybe safety, but either way, good point. We need to go out and the taller, longer guys that play inside the box, that's going to be at a premium for this staff, for this defensive staff moving forward. So this next one from Terrence saying that hope the coach knows in his defensive scheme has a man over the center because running quarterbacks and running up the middle killed us this season. I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, he's going to have some things where you can cover up the center. Not going to be a whole lot of like running a four-man front. You don't have a lot of nose tackles. That's odd fronts. But he'll do some funky stuff. He'll run the odd front sometimes. But he's not really good versus the mobile quarterbacks. He doesn't use a lot of spies. When he uses spies, he mixes it up, but mostly the spies come from his Leo, from what I've seen. Which those guys are going to be sometimes pretty good out in space, but they're not going to be great. And he, that's something that does kind of concern me is what he does versus the mobile quarterbacks. I think that's one of his weaknesses with his scheme. Okay. This was saying have a blast with Knowles. These daggone Buckeye fans. All right. Let me see. So I was always wondering why there was no one in the middle. All right. So this right here. From Austin saying that Caleb Herring will have a breakout year in 2026. My dude is fast. Add another 15 pounds to him. Let him eat. So I actually think that Caleb Herring is probably going to be. I don't know how Coach Knowles really wants his defensive ends. Maybe wants them to add a little bit of weight, but he's already at like 245. I don't think he really needs. That's about what our Leos play at. That's what they played out previously. So I think that he was fine. I don't want for him to gain too much weight and then lose speed, but maybe like 5 to 10 pounds would be okay. I like Jordan Ross the most in that room. Jordan Ross is a very serious problem, like for real. He could play out in space very well. But yeah, both of them should be really good. Hopefully, it's a breakout year for both of those guys. So this one from Terrence saying, hopefully next year, they will give my cousin Nick Moore the nod at center. So I really like what Nick Moore's put on film. I think that I don't know if he would, because it's the same staff on offense. I don't know what they make it a true open competition at center with Sam Pendleton coming back and let him start there. But I think that and I've actually said this, I actually think he might be right now kind of our best center, just from the standpoint of, man, he looks really good. He doesn't get moved around. He doesn't fall down. He's not as clumsy. But Sam Pendleton had the ankle sprain and all that, so maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I think that Nick Moore, at a bare minimum, might be the number 2 at center. We'll see what does William Satterwhite look like. But our center room right now is very, very deep. So I don't think that we put centers up here. Actually, I'm going to come right back to you, David. And I'm going to go to this one first from Luke saying that he met Staley's aunt and uncle at Neyland. I actually think that his aunt is the coach. One of his aunts, at least, is the coach at South Carolina. Pretty sure that that's the case. But, okay, so you met them at Neyland during the Vandy game, and he's going to have a big year next year. Well, he had a big year this year, so I would not be shocked at all if he has a big year next year too. All right, so David is saying that I kept hearing that Dylan Lewis was the best Atlanta area defensive player coming out. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can necessarily say that. Like, there's a lot of good defensive backs that came out of the A. But if you mean maybe in this class, maybe I was really high on Ty. I think that they're good at different things, but they're both really good. They obviously played at the same school. Love both of those guys. But I think that he'll be fine. That's my whole point. Is I feel like he's going to be fine next season, and he's going to get the opportunity with a whole new staff. Well, with at least a new defensive coordinator to get a real look. So this one right here from Mega Boy saying he thinks that Ethan Davis is a star tight end. I do too. So he's also from the A. But yeah, I think that he's going to be great. I think that he showed a whole lot of glimpses and flashes this season. Just needs to be able to stay healthy. So David's wondering if Dylan Lewis will be a safety rover and at 15 pounds. So he actually played at safety this year, which is crazy. So he starts off at star. I think he might have played some corner too, but just as far as the most recent game film, that's him playing at safety. I think that he looked good. Wasn't scared of the contact. Looks good in coverage. Has to gain some weight, which is why I say maybe playing at star or maybe playing at nickel might better suit. I think it better suits his skill set. I think he actually likes safety, but I mean, shoot, we're probably going to be bringing in starters there, right? So let him play at nickel/star and let him see the field because I think that he can definitely help us out, as I've said several times. All right, so let's see. Who else do we got in here? Okay, so this one right here from Austin saying, just watch this film. I ain't arguing with nobody on here. The proof is in the pudding. Just go watch. Also, all right, so this is the Buckeye fan. If we can get Ball, get him, make people stop them both, Thunder and Lightning. So I'm not sure who you're talking about as far as watching the film, but we have watched film on everyone that we're talking about. Like, that's definitely what we do. We watch film on everybody that we talk about. But yeah, Ball would love to have him for sure. And I'm not saying that that's a slam dunk because he still has to enter into the portal, but I think that we maybe get him to enter the portal. So we don't really need an upgrade, just another guy to add depth to the running back room. I mean, look, if the quarterback situation is what it is, or if it is going to be about what so I'm going to bring that back up. I would have to disagree, bro. And I was right there with you, but I would say that I would have to disagree. So if it's just GMAC, Merck, and Faison, we're going to need to upgrade maybe everywhere. That's what I would say. If you can do it, because my whole point in saying it was that we'll be able to hopefully save some money on the quarterback room and not have to overspend there is what we thought we would have to do because we'll have 3 scholarship guys. But after that, like, they're going to need a really, like, I would definitely go out and add Jaden Ball or somebody like of that ilk. Personally, I would. because behind Bishop, you've got two true sophomores that haven't played a whole lot of ball. I think that they're going to be good, but we still need a fourth running back. Now, that's if Peyton Lewis leaves. Let's also keep that in mind. If Peyton Lewis leaves, which hopefully he also comes back, if Peyton Lewis comes back, maybe we're okay. But I'm thinking about it from the standpoint of the room looks like this, right? Go on and get you a dude. Go on and get you a dude. But it's definitely going to be tough for Coach Heupel. He's going to have to spend a lot of money, be very diligent with what he does inside of the portal. So this one right here, saying in no way that we go after Hoover. He really struggled late this year. Yeah, I don't know who they would go after as far as quarterback. I think you're talking about the kid from TCU, right? Hoover. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy, crazy offseason. A lot of different things can happen. This one right here from C. Staples saying, go Big Orange, go Vols. Appreciate that, bro. Let me get to some more of these. Let me get to Terrence. So Terrence is saying that he thinks that his cousin Zayden Anderson in a year or two is going to be a good one. Did you also say that your cousin was Nick Moore? I could be getting y'all confused, but I don't think it's going to take that long, man. I think that he comes in and he's a big part of our defense from day one. I think I'm very high on him. I hope that he's gaining the weight, getting stronger, because he's going to definitely have to do that. I think he's going to be at least, I would say if Ricky Gibson comes back, he would probably be cornerback number 3 for me. I think he's got all the tools. He fits right in, and I hope that we can hold on to Coach E.T. as well. So this next one, asking, do we think that Peyton Lewis is very good? He hasn't impressed me much. I think that Peyton Lewis is very good. Very, very good. And let me come back to this room because he has the size. So I think that he's better suited to play with the weight. I think he might have got down to like 212 this season. So just play up around 215, maybe 220, because I think Tennessee really needs that. And he's the fastest guy probably inside of this room. He's a true track guy if he is in this room. But yeah, I think that he could be really good, but he's a guy that we would need. So hopefully he does come back. I'm not out on Peyton Lewis. I'm very, very high on him. And if he's like the number 1 or number 2 guy, that actually might be better for him. It's hard to come in and be like that third back. So, okay, yeah. So he's saying that Nick and Zay. Okay, so oh wow. So are y'all all cousins, or are you just like the in-between link between those two? Yeah, I think that Zay's going to be able to play early, dog. I really, really do. I'm very high on him. So Peyton only looks shifty when he's celebrating. I don't even think that you really got to be shifty, though, running the football. You need to be able to get downhill. Like, we need to kind of get back to more of that. And I love that we added more outside zone. That's more about patience. I don't really care about, I don't really need a daggum shifty running back, bro. Like, just go give me 4 to 5. I don't care how you get it. Just go get it. Give me 4 to 5. Really, I want him to be able to go give me 5. Give me 5. Let's average 5 yards per carry and to be able to hit the home run sometimes. Once he gets to the second level, see, he's a problem because he's big and he runs hard. You don't want to tackle him. And then if he can get past you on the second level, he's a guy that can separate and he can actually score. I don't know how many of these other backs can do that. I think that they can separate to some degree, but typically running backs ain't going to be super, super fast guys. Peyton Lewis is a super, super fast guy. See what I'm saying? So he hasn't had a chance to really show what all he can do. But make no mistake, he could go onto a different team and look like a daggum All-American. He's got that skill set. All right, so David is saying that Nick is from Jefferson City and Zay is from Greenville. Okay. So those are close areas. This one's from Mega Boys asking, do I think that we'll go after a starter quarterback in the portal? I don't know. I don't know what Coach Heupel wants to do. I could very easily see that happening. I could. But if he does it, he has to do it with the understanding that George is probably going to be gone. Hey, man, so thank you so much for Lee Jackson. Thank you so much for becoming a member and joining us on YouTube. Thank you so much, Lee. We have plenty of content up there for you, so there's a lot on YouTube. So just go back and check it out. We've got plenty of film breakdowns and everything else, and also some inside information for you. So you got a lot of things to get caught up on, or maybe you just upgraded to a 5-star. But thank you so much for being a member with us. Okay, so right here, so saying looks like 5'10" is the height that we want. So that's just, and he's talking about Tennessee's running back room. That's literally just with these three. Yeah. I think that they want guys. I think that you want to have a change of pace. I think that you want the guys that are taller and that can hold more weight and carry it better too. Which is why I said Peyton Lewis, Jaden Ball. You want to hold on to either Peyton Lewis or you want to go out and get Jaden Ball. Like if we lose Peyton Lewis, I think we have to go get Jaden Ball. If we keep Peyton Lewis, you might not really need him, but you still probably need to go add at least like a depth piece at that point. But y'all, that is gonna do it. So this right here saying that Payne was running like Cam Seldon. Cam Seldon, I think he's a problem too. Shoot 6'2", 234, 240. From a skill set standpoint, crazy, right? Crazy. All right, then let me get to this next one right here. So this one talking about Savion is denying the Tennessee rumors. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I'm Coach Heupel, I would not even waste my time on that, bro. Like, for what? What are you going to go overspend on a true freshman running back when you could go out to the portal, get somebody that's more proven, that's going to be better from day one, and save probably $500,000 at least? Like, you go get a real good one and save $500,000. Why would you? And then you got DGG next season. It just, to me, never made any sense. I don't think that it's even necessary. All right, so this right here just saying crazy. All right, so this one also asking is Jaden about leaving Florida. There's some rumors out there that he could potentially do it. Yeah, and so Jalen right here, or I'm sorry, JT Lynn saying that they wait for David Gabriel Georges. But y'all, that is gonna do it. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back probably tomorrow with some more things. Obviously it's a Saturday, so I'll see if I can get P on with me. Oh, you know what? Actually, we're not even gonna be able to come back tomorrow because my niece's birthday is coming up. My brother-in-law's birthday is today, so happy birthday to all of my family. But we will probably just like be out running around and doing birthday stuff. But thank y'all, and we'll be talking to